Hi guys, Vindi here. Let's quickly look at how you can use Confluence to find the areas where you can trade, right? So let's start by defining what this confluence is. Of course, a simple definition will be an act, or rather a process of merging. So we are basically, in this case, we are basically going to be merging structures. We're basically going to be merging support and resistance. Okay, that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be combining that. So we're going to be merging structures. By this, I'm referring to three structures. The first one will be zones, or your horizontal support and resistance. The second one, of course, we will be looking at trend lines. And then the third one, we'll be looking at your Fibonacci levels, So we'll be merging all these three structures together to find an area where we can buy or sell. Easy as that. Nothing rocket, nothing wild. It's just basic. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing right there on this particular session. So if we're to look at NAS, this is ND, so don't be surprised. This ND is NAS for NASDAQ. It's a code for NASDAQ on this specific broker. So if you come down here on this particular one, and you start, the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to start by looking at support and resistance, the horizontal support and resistance. Okay, so you can simply do that step by step. Another easy way of doing that, of course, you can change this to a line chart, which is nothing but a one period moving average. Some of you might be saying, what do you mean by that? Okay, let's just do that. Let's deviate a little and look at the 1 period moving average. Okay, so keep in mind, I'm just gonna dial 1 there, and let me change this to thick. Okay, so you will see that if I click OK, this line chart that we are seeing right here is just gonna be covered by this period. Can you see that? So we know that the line chart is basically a 1 period moving average. Okay, so we can easily see where price have turned. So we can easily draw here. You can see it turned there, it turned there, it turned again there. We can easily draw that. I can duplicate. If you hold control, you can see you can duplicate that again right around about that area. Price have turned. Okay, even up somewhere there, we can see that price turned around that specific level. Okay, so this is how you can easily draw your support and resistance. Okay, these are support and resistance lines. I'm not talking about zones, I'm talking about levels. These are levels. There's a difference between that. Maybe some of you are looking at demand and supply and all those things. Okay, but yeah, I'm talking about support and resistance as lines. So this is what you can do. You can then switch back to your, let me just delete that moving average. Can I delete that? Okay, so you can then move back to this specific setup here where you're using candlesticks, or you can even dial lower to another time frame. So you can see that I've drawn those lines on a much higher time frame, which was daily. And on this, I learned this thing from a guy called what's the name of that guy? I think his name was Walter Peters. Couple of years back, that's how I used to draw my support and resistance couple of years back from the book Naked. Is it called Naked Trading? Something like that. Check it out. I read that book maybe 6 years ago or something like that. That's where I learned this sort of thing. It's rare for people. It's rare for traders to say this is where I've learned what. Of course, everyone's gonna say I taught myself this thing. No, I actually learned this from that book. I think it's called Naked Trading. Check it out for beginners. It's super cool for beginners. It's just super cool. Not everything that book is cool. If as you trade, you will see that some of those things are not, they have a very low win rate. But otherwise, this is how I actually used to draw the levels. This is the basic way. If you're a beginner, like I've said, if you're a beginner, this is the easiest way for you to draw. But make sure that you are drawing these lines on a much higher time frame. Then you dial to a lower time frame as soon as you switch back to the candlesticks. Okay, you can see. So this is a level. If you go to H1, That's still a nice level. You can see how price have now turned around it. So now that I have these areas, step one is done. Remember, step one was to draw the horizontal support and resistance. Okay, step one is done. Okay, now we can move to step two. Remember, our main goal is to merge structures, is to combine structures, is to combine the horizontal support and resistance together with the trend line and together with the moving average. Okay, so that's the next step will be for us to actually look at the trend line. That's the second step. Keep in mind, all these things that we are drawing, they are called static structures. None of these things are gonna move. Unlike here, you can see I have the moving average that moves with price. Okay, so that's a dynamic structure once more. So if I come back here, now we're looking at a trend line. How do we now draw a trend line? I've done a whole video on that. You should check it out. I'm gonna link. You see this pop-up banner here. If you're watching on YouTube, that pop-up banner will show. That's where the video on how to draw trend lines properly is. But I'm just going to highlight that now. Okay, so how we're gonna do that? It's easy. We're simply just going to take 2 points. Okay, we're just gonna take 2 points. So if we take this point, this turning point down there, or can take that one down there, and this one, we have a trend line. We have a trend line, established trend line, the equation of a straight line. Once more, I feel like I've said this 5,000 times. Okay, so you can see that now this horizontal structure that we drew, they're sort of merging around about that area. They are sort of meeting at that particular area. Okay, so that's what we call confluence. So step two, we're done. Step one was to draw the horizontal support and resistance. And then step two, we're drawing another support and resistance, but this one support, of course, this is our support since price is up there, and this is our support as well. But this is our support trend line. It's more of a slanted, it's at an angle. If we were to put this theta there, or phi, or whatever that you want to put, or pi, or whatever that you want to put there to define your angle, you can see that this line is at an angle. But the other one that we had, the horizontal ones, they're just at the 0 angle there, or 1H, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's actually what we have. This one is at the slope. It's still structure as well. That's a trend line. Step two, we have combined a trend line. Step three is to find what the Fibonacci level. With Fibonacci, you have options. You can start there, move up. Okay, but notice how I'm moving from low to high. I've done a whole video, I think, on the website. We talk about that. Check other videos on the Vindi website. There's a whole bunch of other videos. If they're not full, then we're gonna upload some more and other strategies there in detail, particularly for NASDAQ. Okay, there's a lot of strategies that we are actually uploading on the site. Nonetheless, I'm not here to talk about that. So the next one, you can use this point to that point, or you can use this point to that point, but the main goal is for us to get to where price is. Okay, so you can see that round about this area, there's confluence. We do have the 50 level, which is this. We do have the 61. Notice how the 61 is merging with that horizontal support and resistance, and also merging with where the trend line is. Okay, I want you to notice that around that point we have that strong confluence. So this is just telling us that we are most likely to see this support holding. So that's what confluence trading is. But by doing this, we are trying to establish areas where we're going to find a strong buy or strong sell. In the case of this one, we're most likely to find that correction followed by a move back up. Go and check a video that I posted today on the Telegram channel. If you're not part of the Vindi Telegram channel, check the link in the description down below. You will see a video that I posted where I was saying that should we get that nice retest, we're most likely to go up. But that was based on another tool that I used to look at pattern correlations and all those kind of things. But with this confluence stuff, Shandis, if you don't know where to buy, then this is just an estimation as to look, hey, here we could possibly have a strong structure because we have three things that are meeting or merging. The first one being this horizontal support and resistance, the second one being the trend line, and the third one being the 61.8. For those who are familiar with the Fibonacci, you know that's the golden ratio. That's like we used to call that, no, not disrespect, we used to call that the Grafenberg spot. You can put G and then a spot at the end, combine that. Yeah, that combine, yes, the Grafenberg spot. So this is a very sensitive spot where you're most likely to see a whole lot of things, patterns, price action patterns taking place around about that area. Okay, so we know that here we're going to find a very strong confluence. So at the end of that, we're most likely to find opportunities to buy. So this structure is strong. That's how you find strong levels. Combine, first step, combine your horizontal, more your trend line, and then more your Fibonacci. Withdrawing horizontal support and resistance, I've shown you that simple step. Withdrawing trend lines once more, I've shown that you simply combine two swing. If you combine this point and that point, a trend line will come out of that. That's why I said there's a whole video on that. Go and check it out. If you have questions, don't hesitate. Type in the comment section down below. I'm going to reply to your message, or you can send me a WhatsApp. There's a link. You can just simply send me a WhatsApp, and check the website as well. Check the Telegram channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you feel like this is cool. Do subscribe so that you don't miss out on the next video. If you'd like me to do my maybe next video on how to use the Fibonacci, because there's a video on how to use a trend line, or maybe a video on how to draw this horizontal support and resistance easily, I can do that. But like I said, I learned this from another guy as well. So you can simply, a book actually, so you can simply download that book and learn that, which is cool. Otherwise, let me just shut this thing down. Sharp. Make sure that you use a stop loss before I go. Make sure that you calculate your risk. Do not gamble. Do not try to make $1 million in one day. If you're trading $1,000 account or whatsoever, make sure that you do things in a feasible manner. Make sure that you calculate your risk. I mean, 2020 was cool, was amazing. I hope 2021 with Biden in place, we're just gonna be doing things. Things are gonna be much easier than before. During the Obama time, it was much easier to trade, but Trump came in, of course, and then things were it took a sharp turn. So obviously, let's see what 2021 holds for us. Hopefully, take care, guys. Make sure that you come back in 2021. I know this is not the final video. I'm just saying that make sure that you keep on trading properly. Do not blow accounts. Do not make it a habit blowing accounts. Of course, do not chase price. Make sure that you use a strategy to come in. So since before I shut down, I think I still have some more to share. Look, around this particular structure where I'm saying there's we're most likely to see confluence, what we can actually see around that point, we could see maybe some sort of a rejection, a pin bar. We can use that for entry, or we can see maybe an engulfing candlestick, okay, engulfing pattern. Okay, so that's where you can start looking for those things, such candlestick patterns around that area, because this is declared to be a little bit stronger, or a region where we could now start looking for opportunities to buy. But if you dial to a much different time frame, you could see that right there there's another trend line going up, or maybe another level. It depends on which time frame you are looking at. There's no specific time frame that is bigger than the other. So make sure, make sure, I repeat, make sure that you are familiar with using different time frames. So that's what we're going to do. As soon as price gets there, that's where we're going to start looking for those particular things. The simplest thing that you can look at is a pin bar, which is a nice rejection candle. I think I've done a whole lot of videos on that. Or you can look at the engulfing candlestick, and then you're good to go. Otherwise, now it's time for me to go. Make sure that you subscribe, like this video, share with your friends. If this is cool, share or like, so that others can also see it. Otherwise, sharp.